Hey everybody, this is Betsy Veldman from Papertrey Inc. and I am here today to tell you all about my latest Make It Market kit called You're a Masterpiece. This kit will be available for purchase from the Papertrey Inc. website beginning at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on January 5th. So let me tell you all about the contents of the Make It Market Your Masterpiece kit. First of all, there is a full $24 two-sheet stamp set, which is included in the kit. Lots of fun things in this set. There are some art-related sentiments. There's also a Valentine option for making some fun interactive Valentines, which I'll show you a little bit more about a little later in this video. There is a paint palette, which has a separate stamp that you can add colors to the little spaces in the palette. There are some brushstroke hearts, which are two-step. There are a couple different frame options. There is this large decorative frame, which you can combine with this simpler square frame. They nest inside of each other. Or this simple square frame can be used alone as well. There is also a cityscape, some butterflies, paintbrushes, which have a separate stamp for the tips so you can add color to the tip of your paintbrush. Lots of fun things going on in the stamp set. Then let's move on to the dies. There are a lot of dies in this kit. This little set here, it coordinates with the frame stamps, and there is a small square which you can cut out the inside of the frame, or you can die cut watercolor paper, you name it, something to fit inside of that frame. The larger square coordinates with the outer edge of that square frame, and this decorative frame obviously coordinates with that frame stamp. Then there are a few other dies that coordinate with some of the images in the set. There's a paint palette, the brushes, and there is a die for this image as well. Okay, then moving on, there is a little paint palette die. This will actually let you create a paint palette which actually works, and I'm going to show you how that works a little bit later in this video. This little die here actually is a paintbrush holder. You can see here where I die cut a little holder for the paintbrush, just cut some slits and some holes that pop up and lets you slip a paintbrush right in there for fun interactive cards. You will also receive some paint brushes, and they coordinate perfectly with this die. And then there is an easel die, which will allow you to create your own little easels, and so that you can display the little canvases or watercolor artworks or whatever. Lots of fun uses for that as well. And you will receive 3 little mini canvases. These are just 2x2 square canvases. You can see how they have dimension. Makes a fun little gift or a tag, or you can put it on a card for interactive cards for kids. You will also receive 12 squares of watercolor paper which fit perfectly inside of this frame, as do the canvases. They are all that 2x2 inch size, so everything fits right inside of that frame. And then you will receive also some enamel dots, these rainbow enamel dots, and I thought they would be fun to add maybe to the paint palette so that you can create, they actually will look like little drops of paint. And there is also a pack of pattern paper. This is not a pad, these are just individual sheets which are in a cello wrap. There are a couple of fun patterns. There's a rainbow chevron and also a rainbow stripe. And then there are 2 sheets of frames, and this is done very similar to how the Make It Market kits were done with the tags, if you are familiar with that kit. They are pre-printed, and they have a little border around which will act as a guide for your die. So you can just go ahead and drop your die right down on top of that and run it through your die cutting machine, and you will end up with a perfectly cut printed frame, which is kind of fun. And I included a sheet of square frames which coordinate with that square frame die as well. And also on this sheet of decorative frames, there are some pre-printed paint palettes which work in the same way. You can just drop your die right on top of that and run it through your machine. This little black line acts as your guide for where to place your die. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that there are actually dies for creating your own working mini paint palettes. So I'm going to show you how that works. We are going to be offering a set of 6 gelatos as a separate add-on to the kit. And if you're not familiar with gelatos, gelatos are a watercolor medium, but they are almost like giant crayons. They're very soft, they're very pigmented, they twist up and they go on almost like butter. They're very soft, very smooth. And once you add water, they become like a watercolor paint. So to do this, let me show you how this works. I'm starting off with some strips of cardstock, which are cut so that they're going to fit through my Xyron machine. And if you don't have a Xyron machine, you can obviously use a different adhesive of your choice, but this is the method I'm using today. I just thought it made it quick and easy. So it's sized to fit in my Xyron machine, and it's also sized that it's going to fit my die. So what I have done is I have taken the gelatos and I've just colored on a very solid layer of color. And this is actually going to act as your little spots of color on your paint palettes. And you want a nice, thick, even coat. If you have kids that like to help you paper craft, my kids would die to help me with this step. My youngest absolutely loves it if I let her play with my gelatos. Okay, so once the coloring is all done, you can see I have a nice solid coat of all of those colors. I'm just going to go ahead and run the strip through my Xyron. And that puts that layer of adhesive on the back. Rub over that. And then what I can do is I can just go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine. And it will cut, once I do all of the colors, I will have enough little paint spots to complete 6 paint palettes. So it's pretty quick and pretty easy. I'm going to cut that apart and I'll just go ahead and run it through my machine. Okay, so I'm back and you can see now that I have die cut all of my pieces of cardstock that were colored with the gelatos, and I have all of these pretty little paint spots that I can go ahead and add to my base of my palette. Here I have die cut the base just from a piece of white cardstock, and then I can go ahead and just add these to the base. And the base actually has these little embossed ovals which act as a guide for the placement, so you can just very quickly, very easily, since I ran them through my Xyron, they already have the adhesive on the back, and I can just go ahead and peel off the liner of that adhesive and add them to the little palette. Okay, so pretty fun. And then you can see here where I added it to the bottom of a card along with a paintbrush, which is held on by the little paintbrush holder die, which is also included in the kit. So then I can just show you how this works. Here I have stamped a butterfly. This is from the Your Masterpiece kit, the stamp set. And you can see here I have a water and just a brush. And I can just go ahead and add some water to that, and it becomes just a little paint palette. Very much like what you might have gotten as a kid. If you ever had any of those little painting books when you were a kid, this is really just that same kind of concept. Okay, so I mentioned there is also a die for creating your own little easels. And I'm going to just show you really quickly how easy it is to assemble these. There are 3 pieces to the die. There's the main easel, the back leg, and then the ledge that your artwork will set on. And I have found that if I die cut 2 of the main easel and the leg and adhere them together, it is sturdy enough to hold one of the little mini canvases from the kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little adhesive on the back side of one of these. And I'm going to adhere them back to back. That way your easel looks nice from every direction. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the back leg. Make sure those are together nice and tight. Now assembly is very simple. You can see there is a little embossed line and a dot, and there is also an embossed dot. There's 3 of them across the top. What you're going to do is you're going to align this embossed dot on the leg with the center embossed dot on the easel front. Just add a little bit of adhesive and match that up right there. Then you can go ahead and add your little ledge, and that's this piece right here. It has some embossed lines so that you can easily fold up a lip in the front and in the back. And then this can be adhered to the front side of the easel, and you can put it at whatever height you want according to whatever you're putting on it. You can put it up higher or lower depending on the height of your object. I'm going to put it right about here. So I'll just put a little adhesive there. Then I can just adhere it to that back lip, like that. Okay, so then give your glue a minute to dry, but then you can go ahead and pop out this back leg. There's a little score line there. You can just pop that out, and then it stands up like that. And you can go ahead and put your artwork on there. One of the little canvases. The ledge is deep enough also to hold one of the little canvases. Well, that wraps up this little preview for the latest Make It Market kit called You're a Masterpiece. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been Betsy Veldman for Papertrey Inc.